Sweet. All right. So you are watching the NASCAR Report. We are presented by the Insiders Room. Make sure you go check out insidersroom.com. I am Rycape. You can find me on the Insiders Room at Tom Macrina. I have Joey Tron here with me as well, as always. How you doing, Joey?
I'm doing well. You can also find me on insidersroom.com under Joey Tron.
Perfect. Yeah, no Dan tonight. He had personal things going on, so I'm taking over the hosting duties. Obviously, it's not my favorite thing to do, but we'll make it work. All right. So I have two guests with me today. Over to my right, we have Full Tank with Phil. Phil, how you doing?
Doing good, man. I appreciate the invite to join tonight, and I'm loving the conversation, talking about Vegas, surviving the super speedways, and here we are talking about some intermediate tracks, so I'm pumped up.
Yeah, if you don't know who Phil is, he does a podcast, Full Tank with Phil. You can find that everywhere except Amazon Music. You got to get on that.
Okay.
When do you usually drop those? Tuesday, Wednesday?
Try to do it Tuesday night, if not Wednesday, in that time frame. So yeah, and give me a follow, Full Tank Phil, on Instagram and Twitter. So I appreciate it.
He also does a betting preview show, NASCAR betting preview show with Derek. That's always Wednesdays at 8:00, correct? And then you do the truck show, same company.
Yeah, NASCAR betting preview show is the umbrella for the whole podcast, and I'm part of the trucks pod there. So yeah, making it sound like I'm pretty busy. I like it, juicing the stats here.
Well, the guy under me is always busy. We have Cody Zeeb as part of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. Go ahead, Cody. Tell them what you do. You're pretty much every racing podcast you could do, you do it.
Yeah, we got it all covered. Yeah, I'm a co-host on the NASCAR Gambling Podcast with my buddy Rod Villagomez. So you can find me on Twitter at Husker_Zeeb. Find our show at NASCAR Gambling. We're 5 days a week. We cover all three series. We just got done with our Xfinity show not very long ago. And then we do DFS. We do a recap every week as well. And then we cover F1. We have the F1 Gambling Podcast kind of incorporated in with the NASCAR one, and then talk IndyCar when that rolls around as well. So we're busy all the time with all things racing.
Yeah, he does it all well too. Yeah, he definitely knows how to talk about the racing and
you could have just
in the right way. I love
knows
it.
How
now
to
we're
talk.
good. All right, so I guess we'll start off here talking about last week. We had a phenomenal, in my opinion, Atlanta race. I'll just talk about my bets a little bit. On this show, I gave out Ross Chastain top 3. Unfortunately, he did not get there. I threw in 2 bets on Sunday in the Discord. One was Blaney over Larson. That was at plus money. We cashed that one. The other one was Keselowski, I think, top 10. And we had trouble there. What do you have, Joey Tron?
Yeah, I had Blaney to win, so that was kind of heartbreaking at the end. And then I had Kyle Busch top 5, which cashed for us. So
yeah,
definitely a good race for me. I'm always cool with cashing a plus 180 ticket any day.
All right. So what did we think about Atlanta? Probably one of the best endings we've ever seen. I know that I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. I think it was like the 3rd closest race in NASCAR history in terms of time.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good from beginning to end. I mean, any type of race fan would enjoy watching that race.
Yeah, I feel like if you like look at it from a standpoint of a fan or somebody who's not a fan yet, the fact that it wasn't Daytona, somebody can say like, "Oh wow, Atlanta, like that seems like a random track," and you're getting that type of product, like. That's exciting. Let me look at the next race. So I think it's fantastic for NASCAR to have that happen.
That's such a good point, Phil. Yeah, and it was a great race. Like from the drop of the green flag, the entire thing, 4 wide racing in Atlanta. Like it was so crazy good. It was a great weekend.
It was fun for sure. And now we go to Las Vegas. So I guess we're excited to see chalk this week.
A little more predictable, hopefully.
Yeah,
but yeah, use the numbers to your favor this week. That's for sure.
Yeah, still some questions too that got to be answered with the new bodies for Ford and Toyota. So we got a lot more predictable for sure, but a lot of questions we still need answered.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are heavy on Chevy this week, but that makes sense. Regardless of the new bodies, I think Chevy would have been top picks for most people anyway.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll talk about it. Where are we? Vegas. So I'll go into track facts, see what we got here. So yeah, this is the Pennzoil 400. We are at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. This is a 1.5 mile oval, 20-degree banking. This is race number 3 of 36. We're going to be doing 400 miles, which is 267 laps. So I guess we're all fans of Las Vegas.
I think it's a cool
Big
track.
time.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of it.
yeah, it's a good
Yeah, and
one.
the intermediate racing too for the Cup Series has been one of the best packages in this new car. So we've had some really, really great racing on these types of tracks.
I
Just
agree.
feels like a good part of the schedule too. Like coming off of 2 super speedway races back to back to start the year, like for the first time ever. So it's
Yeah.
like, all right, we scratched the itch there. Now let's see what these guys actually have, and these intermediate packages. Let's we're all waiting for it. So it's a good time in the schedule to have that and be excited about it.
Are you using any similar tracks to handicap this?
I think looking back at Vegas previously, more so the last 4 races in the new car specifically rather than farther back. And then Kansas, Charlotte, Texas, even a little bit are kind of the closest comparisons that we used over on the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
Yeah, same here.
I use Kansas a little bit. My biggest was Las Vegas in the next gen car, and especially Las Vegas in spring.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing for me, and focusing on like those tracks, like specifically last year, those six tracks, how they did last year, as well as, Vegas specifically in the next gen. So seems like we're all on the same page.
Yeah, I guess the biggest thing with Kansas is the tire wear is different. We're not going to see much tire wear here.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be any fuel saving either, so that should be a plus.
Yep.
All right, Joey, you got some trends for us?
Yeah, I got a couple for us. Ford has the most wins here at 14, followed by Chevy with 12 and Toyota with 5. Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski are tied with 2 wins among active drivers. Kyle Busch has the most pole wins among active drivers with 3. This is a pretty interesting one that Rye told me. Only 2 drivers who won the pole went on to win. Larson last season and Kyle Busch in 2009. And Chevy has won back-to-back here in the last 5 races. Have gone Chevy, Ford, Chevy, Toyota, and that Toyota winner was Denny Hamlin. Those are your trends.
Denny Hamlin.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. All right. So I guess we'll get into discussion here. I guess we could start with the favorite. Joey Tron, I know you like him. You want to start us off with Kyle Larson?
Yeah. I don't know. I hate to play the favorite here with Kyle Larson, but I don't know. I do like him a lot. In his last 6 races here, he has 1 win, 4 top 5s, 5 top 10s. He's had a rough stretch, placing in 10th, 11th, and 5 in his last 3. But I don't know. Something about going into Vegas this weekend really makes me high on Kyle Larson. Intermediate tracks, similar to Vegas here, in 30 races, Larson has 8 wins and 18 top 5s. That's pretty damn impressive. So with that said, I really do like Kyle Larson this weekend.
And how are you trying to take him? Outright?
I was looking at him in group betting, but there is nothing for him on DraftKings for group betting. I only see him with outright and placing. I don't see him anything else yet.
That's because he's a favorite.
Well, yes, but I still feel like even like in like maybe a head-to-head with somebody, as a parlay piece, but
yeah.
I feel like just only outright, even at plus 450, like I said, I don't know. Work the number in your favor, more predictable at this track.
Yeah, I kind of feel like if you like Larson, which I think everybody does, you guys have opinions on Larson.
He's kind of a stay. I'm staying away from him just because he's so short. I think that like you look at a guy like William Byron, his teammate who dominated this race last year and won it, is almost twice the price at plus 850, plus 900, depending on where you look. And I feel like even though Larson, should be the favorite and is probably going to be the best guy, you get a lot more value on on his teammate who won more races than he did last year, and at this track in this race kind of kicked his ass last season. So I feel like there's a little more value there, but you can't really hate on Larson. I mean, we all get it, right? He's the best driver in the series and one of the fastest cars week in and week out, and really plus 420. I mean, isn't a horrible number if you think he's going to win, but I don't know. I get scared dipping down into these favorites sometimes because it feels like fool's gold.
I'm with you there. Go ahead, Phil.
I would say, I wholeheartedly agree about Byron. That's why I'm on Byron. Essentially double the price, but and Byron, for his credit, like in the next gen era, his driver rating's better than Larson. His average finish is better than Larson. Larson had a bad finish because of Bubba one round. But that being said, like I know that Byron's a better value and he's just as capable. I also have a hard time. I don't know if it's the degenerate in me or what, but like I have a hard time like knowing that I could get beat by Larson. So what I typically do is just kind of take like a little sprinkle on a Larson win plus something else just to get it better. Cause I can't not touch him. I'll have him in some like maybe my one and done pool. I have to have something on Larson because he is so good. Joe was just saying like that is not somebody I can be comfortable getting beat by. Like not touching him at all in any capacity would really hurt if we go out and we see what we saw last fall. But but that being said, there's a lot of unknowns, like mentioned earlier with Toyota and Ford and who's got what. So unknowns sometimes play spoiler for the favorites. So that's a reason why, you might want to look down the board too.
Yeah, I also think if you want to bet Kyle Larson, maybe wait till after practice and qualifying. I don't think you're going to get a better number. You really won't get a worse number. What do you think the worst is going to be? 3.5 to 1, 3 to 1. I mean, as a favorite, that's not much of a difference compared to, if a guy starts out at 18 to 1 and he goes all the way down to 10 to 1.
If he's 3 to 1, he's got a rocket ship at that point, right? Because you saw what they have compared to everybody else in practice qualifying. So at that point, you almost feel better taking the shorter number because you actually saw something.
And you'll have some answers as far as what do the Fords look like, what do the Toyotas look like, and if Larson's just kicking everybody's ass, even if the number drops, you're probably going to feel a lot more confident having backed up. Okay, I've seen him this weekend off the truck, and he is that much faster.
I'll just wait for Rory to tell me to bet him live.
Yeah, Rory checking in. We just got done. Just got done rambling on Larson.
He sniffed it out.
So yeah, I get. Yeah, he did.
His Larson alarm went off. I gotta get over there.
All right, there's So I guess we all like William Byron too. We prefer Byron over Larson.
I do.
Yeah, for a money line play, just because the
just because of the value. I mean, if they were the same price, then yeah, you're going Larson. But it's all about the number.
But he also Byron dominated here in spring last year. I kind of think it's not a fluke that he had such a good season last year. Seeing what happened at Daytona, I mean, he kind of sneaks into some wins, but that's all right. I still like William Byron. I think he has talent. Yeah. What about Chase Elliott? Any of you guys like him?
I do. I like him a lot based on the number, just because it's like if you look back at his track record here, if you look at his next gen stats on the mile and a halves, not the best, right? But if you look at the fact that his teammates are favorites to win this race at plus 450 and Byron at plus 850, and then you got to scroll down the board to get to Chase Elliott. What is he? What did I see him at? 16-1 in some places. So if you're getting the same equipment, and we know Chase Elliott is a good driver, right? We're a couple of seasons away from him winning 5 races, won the championship a couple years ago. He's got a bad taste in everybody's mouth right now because he got hurt last season, kind of looked like shit when he came back, didn't really tear it up like everyone expected to. But now if he's fully healthy and he's in as good of a car as Byron and Larson are in at the short numbers, Larson gets all the attention because he's kind of the best driver in the series. Byron's getting a lot of attention. He just won a Daytona. He's been winning a lot lately. So I think that you're getting a good deal on him at this far down of a price. And we kind of have to see, but at this number, I think you get this one definitely before practice. If he comes out with a hot rod, the number is going to drop pretty quick.
Yeah, I got to wait and see. I won't bet Chase Elliott until he shows me that he can win. He didn't look horrible the last 2 weeks. I think he came in 13th and 16th, but when we see Chase Elliott, we want to see consistent top 10s, top 5s, wins being up there. I haven't really seen that, so I don't think I can bet him. I'm not going to fade him, but I don't think he'll be on my card.
Yeah, I actually was inadvertently fading him. I did look past him to Bowman in the camp, and as well as going against him in a head-to-head, and then looking at Bovada had him over under 11.5, and I took over plus money because he's been over 5 of the last 7 races at Las Vegas. Like, for whatever reason, he's like the odd man out of that camp at this racetrack. Like, it's not just a 2023 thing. It's so I'm a guy that's proved me wrong, right? And if I lose because you go out and you do have a hot rod and I picked the lane and I went with this based on the numbers that I'm looking at, and he proves me wrong, great. You know what I mean? Now I know that Chase has something that I can look at later in the year. But looking at this weekend, I understand the point about the money line play, taking him before. If he does come out hot, now you got some value there, closing line value. But for me, he hasn't proved it when everybody else in the stable has in the same time period, like next gen era, even further back. Like it hasn't really been that great for him here. So for me, I was like, you know what? I don't love it because it is the Hendrick camp, and I'm high on Chevy this week. But that's just kind of where my chips fell.
Joey, anything on Chase?
Yeah, I had 2 drivers written down for fades, and Chase Elliott was actually one of them. He has an average finish of 19.2 here, and in 13 races, he has no wins. And I don't want to piggyback and kind of go what everyone else has been saying, but the one big thing was, he hasn't really proved anything yet at Vegas. So with that said, for this track specifically, nothing for me on Chase Elliott.
Yeah, I'll fade him until he does it. Well, I won't fade him.
And I like him too, I took him last season for fantasy, his first race back after his injury. No, I was high. I thought it was going to be a good spot for him. Really did, but
that was stupid.
Doesn't matter. It's whatever. The point I'm making is this race, no, not taking him.
Like, how is this guy in first place?
That's the luck of the super speedway.
I was gonna say luck of the draw, baby. Luck of the draw.
So the guy who I like the most here is Alex Bowman. So I thought if you're taking Chase Elliott, I think Alex Bowman's the better play. He finished in the top 3 in the last 2 spring races. He won in 2022. Kansas, he finished 9th, 4th, 10th in his last 3 tries. I think he's going to do well here. This is Bowman. Bowman's one of my favorites here. He's one of the people I'm on outright before practice and qualifying. I actually have 2 bets. He's one of them, Alex Bowman, to win.
Yeah, I like it for the same reasons as, he's also in the Hendrick cars, and he's actually been good at Vegas in the past too. So his top 5 number, he's like around plus 280. I really like that for him. I think he'll be up in that area to compete for a top 5. And yeah, it's hard to argue with his outright number being as big as it is. Again, in the same equipment as the 2 guys that are the favorites to win this race. and we've seen him have the track record, unlike Elliott, of being good at Vegas before. He's even won here, and I believe that win was in the next gen car too. So,
yeah, it was. And Bowman said this on the show last night as well. Like, when he wins races, it kind of comes out of nowhere. Like, and I would consider this out of nowhere, right? If he's 22-1, books aren't really giving him much love. Like, if he wins that race, the normal, not people that are locked into NASCAR betting are going to be like, whoa, where did Bowman come from? But there are stats that prove this is a racetrack where he can perform. And to start the season, if you look at the schedule, the point that we were trying to make was like, Chevy has an advantage early because they've got the notes as the other guys are starting to like understand what they have in front of them. And at a racetrack like Vegas, Hendrick specifically has an advantage. And so 22-1 for one of their drivers is crazy, especially somebody who's had a victory, whether he's a hack or not. So I think Bowman is a really solid look this early in the week.
That's where he got the hack from, Las Vegas.
I'm pretty sure it was, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, beating Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
I remember that. Have you seen any bets like Hendrick finish 1, 2, 3? I know MGM used to do that kind of stuff.
They did. I know that we've got like the Quinellas and such. That's only 2 though. And I don't.
Yeah, you can get you can do both to finish top 5 on Caesars for Larson and Byron is plus 260. Bowman is in there with Bubba Wallace if you like him at 12-1.
Larson, Byron, Quinellas plus 750. I mean, they're never as good as what they should be, but it's still a fun bet.
It's always a fun bet to place.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we'll stay in the Chevy camp. I like Ross Chastain. I was on him last week. I love that he's getting more aggressive. Las Vegas by itself, he actually won his first race in Xfinity here. In the Cup, he has an average finish of 5.5. He's third place in spring of 2022. He also led 83 laps here. In fall of 2022, he led 68 laps, finished runner-up. 12th place last spring. It was his only finish outside of the top 10 in his last 4 at Vegas. As I said earlier, I love the aggression and the fact that Suarez won. I think he's got a little more fire under his ass to win a race sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I'm big on Ross Chastain this week. We've got a bit we do on the NASCAR Gambling Podcast of riding a car lift with the guy. It's similar to a ladder in football and taking them all the way up. And I did that with Chastain this week. So I'm on his top 3, his top 5. He was being offered earlier in the week. They had a over under 10.5. So I took the under on that. And then him to win as well at 18-1. I think I love Chastain this week. I think he's being slept on the books a little bit. I mean, if you go back till the end of last season, he wins at Phoenix. The last 2 weeks, I don't really look too heavy into because they were super speedways anyways. But his teammates coming off a win now, light that fire under him a little bit. And he's got 3 top 5 finishes in the last 4 races here in the next gen car at this track. So he's been solid here. He's been strong on the 1.5 miles, and you're getting really good numbers on him too. I mean, his top 5 number is plus 220. So there's really good numbers out there on him.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more about Ross. I'm similar manner, thinking about taking him for money line, but I kind of backed away from that and was just looking at a placement bet. But I mean, in the next gen era, you guys called it out. First in average finish at this track, second in driver rating, and then 2023, second in average finish behind Byron. Like he just intermediate tracks and Ross Chastain seem to be getting along recently. And then you add in everything that Cody just said about momentum. It's the team, it's him. A lot of things locking in at the right time at a racetrack that really speaks to this dude. So I agree what Cody said about having the books kind of sleeping on him, which is weird because I was, especially top 10 markets. I was waiting for top 10s to come out, and it took them forever to put the top 10 market out there. And when they finally did, it was kind of dog shit, but he was still sitting there at like minus 125, which is like pretty solid. Right now, I think I'm looking at the site now. I think MGM has him at minus 135 as the best number, if I'm reading that correctly. So, I mean, that's still bettable to me for a guy like this. But yeah, what Cody said, the car lift, the ladder, a lot of different ways for Ross Chastain this week. And in fact, I mentioned how I was fading Chase in a head-to-head. That head-to-head is against Ross Chastain, and I really love that matchup. Probably I had him at minus 120 on the pod. That was my favorite bet that I had on Full Tank with Phil this week. So it seems like we're very high on Ross.
Yeah, I'll be looking for that head-to-head. I'll jump on it. Go ahead, Joey. You like Ross?
Yeah, I dig him. One thing I said last week was one thing I'm trying to target this year for NASCAR is place finishes. And Ross Chastain, 3 top 5s in his last 6 races overall here. Seems like a good bet to me.
Sweet. All right. You want to talk about Kyle Busch?
Yeah, I like Kyle Busch. I picked him this week for fantasy as well. In his last 6 races at Vegas, he has 5 top 5s. He went 3, 14, 3, 4, 3, and 3. It's pretty damn crazy. Average finish of 5 here. 25 races in his career at Vegas. He has 1 win, 12 top 5s, and 17 top 10s. He did excellent racing in the Toyota here, and I think he'll do even better with RCR. Give me a little bit of Kyle Busch this weekend.
Yeah, I guess you can't go wrong with Kyle Busch. I'll bet on him because I bet on him every week.
There you go.
But that's about the only reason. You guys like Kyle Busch?
Yes and no. I'm having a hard time finding where I would bet on him. I like him. I think he could have a good week. I mean, he's 16-1 in some places to win. That's not a bad bet at all. But I couldn't really find a way that I liked getting in on Kyle this week.
So Kyle Busch averages 16 starting position. So I think the same thing with Kyle Larson. I think after qualifying that you could possibly get a better number. So same thing. If you like Kyle Busch, I think you should wait on him. I wouldn't take him right away. You have opinions on Kyle Busch, Phil?
He's someone that I'm not fading by any means. Like I'm like Cody, I'm trying to look and find my spot, kind of biding my time, looking to see like where I could kind of jump on it. I think a fun bet for anyone who's just, putting all like market or unit allocation aside, to have Kyle sweep in his hometown truck race and the cup race. Yeah. It's doable. Like it's very doable. But seriously, like the one bet that I was looking at, so top 5s Joey called out, was something that, is a good placement bet. I see him at plus 190 for a top 5. That's something that's well within his grasp. But something that struck me as you brought him up, I was just kind of pulling him up, and he's plus 115 against Ryan Blaney head to head. And, the Penske guys, I can't make heads or tails of them right now. And Kyle's 6.0 average finish in the next gen era at Vegas. Blaney's not even in the top 10 in that category. He's 6th in driver rating. Blaney's 9th. I mean, I don't understand really where Blaney is such a heavy favorite there. And that sends alarm bells off in my mind. Like maybe this is the spot. So to beat one driver plus 115, I mean, shit, he's minus 110 to win the whole truck race on Friday night. So to me, that might be a spot where I can say I like Kyle there.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm not high on Blaney this week either. He's had some pretty bad finishes here, 36, 28, 13. He has had 9 top 7 finishes in 14 starts here, but it doesn't do anything for me. I think last week was his chance, and I'll be off of him for a little bit. Ryan Blaney. Anybody like Blaney?
Yeah, I don't really have anything on Blaney this week either. I'm interested to see how the new dark horse does and if that's any different. But overall, Ford was definitely the worst of the three manufacturers on these intermediates tracks last year. So I know Blaney won at Charlotte. Coke 600 is a little bit of an outlier race, so hard to always exactly measure that with it. But yeah, I would definitely take the Kyle Busch side of things, and especially you're getting him at plus money too. So I think that is definitely a good advantage. It's crazy too because I'm seeing it's like Kyle Busch outright is like plus 950 some places, and yet like Superbook has him at 16-1. So man, shop around if you do want to bet on him because that's a pretty wide variety of price.
Do we like any of the other Penske guys? Joey Logano, he won here in 2022. That's really about all he's done in the next gen car. I know he's used to dominate this track, but we haven't seen him much in the next gen car. He's another one. I'm not fading him, but he probably won't be on my card.
Yeah, I always say
Austin, if I do it Penske, I'm taking Austin Cindric.
There you go. I always say Joey Logano is the hardest guy in the whole garage to peg what he's going to do on any given week. I mean, he could be one of the best two cars out there, or he could be running 20th. It just, and there seems to be no rhyme or reason that I can find anyways. So I just try to avoid Joey Logano because I can't ever figure out what he's going to do.
Yeah. Funny thing is that the last two races he's been one of the best cars. He didn't finish either of them, did he?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm similar take on Logano, kind of a no play for me this week. I'm doing a team bet against Penske with 2311. But you know, Logano specifically, I have a championship bet on him from the preview the season, and I need to see like some consistency now that we're getting into like the real meat and potatoes of the schedule here. You know, really want to see that team step up before I can really feel confident throwing any money down. So yeah, I mean this was once a proud track for Penske, and we'll see if they can turn around with this dark horse.
Maybe, I don't know, but I'm not putting my money there.
Yeah,
no.
Same.
What about you, Tron? Anything?
Nothing on Joey.
Any Penske love?
No.
Do we like any other Fords? Any Fords jump out to you?
Not really.
For me, Keselowski, what was his top 5 number? He's not a plus 240. I don't know. Keselowski's a guy that I kind of had circled coming into the week. Top 10, he's minus 125. That one actually might be the one I would look at. He's been kind of a similar story where he was really good here in the past, right? Back in the Penske days. But he did have, I was trying to find super quickly, Ryan over at iFantasy Race had some really good nuggets on him. But he had what did he finish? 6th place here in the fall. Gosh, where did that go? I don't know. Somebody else talk while I find it.
He was one.
He came in second in 2019, second in 2021. But those are with the old cars. He hasn't really done anything in the next gen.
Him and Chase
Joey.
Elliott were my two fades. Reason I'm
I don't know that I can fade him.
Nah, I'm not betting him. Reason why, career wise, like we were saying, he's done great, but not so much as of recent. 3 of his last 4 finishes, he's finished between 17 and 24. He typically starts to race well and slowly dies out as the race goes on here, it seems. So with that said, I really don't want to.
So I found what I was looking for from Ryan over at iFantasy Race. And again, hard to look back at what he's done previously, but in the fall here, he did have a 4th place finish. It did seem like RFK was kind of figuring out this package of the Fords. They kind of look like the best Ford team. And to close out the season at the high-speed 1.5 miles in the playoffs, he was tied for the 3rd best average finish at 6.7, 3rd best running position at 7.1, and had the 3rd best driver rating over on iFantasy Race. So he did close out the season pretty strong, and RFK started to maybe figure some stuff out. Again, they're changing the car now, so a little different look, but I do kind of like looking at him for the top 10 finish And then Caesars took down the over-unders for some reason, but he was before at 14.5 was his over-under. So I like the under on that. Gives you those extra 4 spots too.
Nobody burns me more than Brad Keselowski.
If you're just itching to bet a Ford, a name that was already mentioned was Austin Cindric. Caesars has him in a group bet, Group H, plus 195 to beat John Hunter, Josh Berry, and Austin Dillon, who's been just dismal. And so, I mean, Cindric, he's probably going to run. He had lightning in a bottle, I think, last year, finished top 10. Other than that, he's running around like 20th. So the question you got to ask yourself is, like, do those other guys finish inside the top 20? I don't know. I don't think so. He is the favorite in that group. Dillon's right behind him at plus. He's 2-1. But if you're itching to bet a Ford, I think there's something maybe there with Cindric. But we got to see how practice and qualifying goes for that one. But that was one thing that kind of stood out to me here.
I expect him to qualify well, which might mess with his price, but I don't know that I'm going to get there with Cindric. I had him last week for one and done or one of those, and he helped me out. It's pretty good. I thought he was going to win it, and then it was stupid ass Suarez making me eat crow. My goodness,
is that his nickname? Stupid ass Suarez.
No, I always hate on the guy, and I ate crow. I was wrong on that one. And the guy I'm saying no, don't take. He wins the whole thing. One of the best races. Yes, it does. All right. So I guess we'll go over to Toyotas. I have one guy I really like. I'm already on him for top Toyota. That is Christopher Bell. He has 4 top 10 finishes in his last 5 starts here. 5th place last spring. Runner-up in the fall after leading 61 laps. I feel like he's going to be checkers and wreckers. He's either going to be in the top 5 at the end, or he's not going to be there at the end. And I feel like he's the most consistent, other than Martin Truex, of the Toyotas. And I feel like he's going to qualify well because he usually does. Good track position. I think he's going to have a fast car. I took him at plus 380. Top Toyota. I think that was on Caesars, but I think the number went down now. Might be like 350.
Yeah,
but it might be a better price at other places. I haven't shopped.
350 on Caesars now, but that's pretty close.
Yeah, I'm on that same exact bet. High on Christopher Bell. I mean, in the next gen era, 4 races, he's improving, and the one that he got knocked out of was just again Bubba getting crazy with Kyle Larson, and he was an innocent bystander, finished 35th or whatever. So 10th, you dismissed the DNF because of that. 5th and 2nd to Larson, who was running away from the field last year. This dude knows how to get around this joint. So yeah, you just got to hope that the new Toyotas don't mess up what he has been doing in his career at this track. And I think that's going to be a solid bet. He's a good Toyota to be on.
Good. You like any other Toyotas? Anyone?
Tyler Reddick for me.
Truex. Reddick,
yeah, Tyler Reddick for me. I think I'm very, very big on Tyler Reddick this season. I've got a good size outright for him to win the championship. I think he's going to win a ton of races. I think that could start this week. We saw a lot of, the stats don't necessarily back Tyler Reddick up a ton. But there was a lot of eye tests last year where the team was really good. The team was solid. They had fast cars. And then this mistake or that mistake or this happened or that happened. And if they can start putting that stuff together, I think he could come out of the gate. And I think he's one of the most talented young drivers in the field. And I'm very, very big on Tyler Reddick. So I've got him as one of my outrights. He's 11-1. You can get him on Superbook to finish under 8.5. I like that. He's 4-1 to be the top Toyota. I don't hate that one. I don't know that I would pull the trigger on that one, but it's definitely worth considering as well. So he's the Toyota that I'm big on this week is Tyler Reddick, because we've seen 23-11. They've been strong on the 1.5 miles. So I mean, he's got to win. He won in the fall at Kansas. Bubba's been good there as well. He's another guy that I like out of the Toyota camp also, but I think Reddick is due for a big season, and I think it's going to start this week.
Yeah, I think if I was going to take someone from 23-11, it would be Bubba Wallace, just because of the pricing. I kind of think Tyler Reddick's a little overvalued here. But, yeah, as you said, the 23-11 has been good on these 1.5 miles. They really excelled here.
Yep.
Go ahead, Phil. You like any Toyotas?
Well, Christopher Bell, but I mean, I did mention, at 23-11, I was getting them plus 135 versus the Penske stable. And it's for all the reasons that you guys like Bubba and Reddick. So for me, I haven't played very many outrights yet. I played Byron and Chastain because I think their prices might go down. And Bowman, excuse me. But 23-11, two guys I have my eye on. I want to see how they look in practice and qualifying, because I think if they do come out hot and their price goes down, it's still something that I'm comfortable taking, right? It's not going to be so low that it's like I can't touch that. So, yeah, those are two guys that have stats here. They have the metrics from last year that make sense. And you button up some of those mistakes from the 45 team, and Bubba continues his career progression on these 1.5 miles. So this is a whole team between the two of them that we could be seeing a lot of good things. And I'm also high on Reddick for the year too. I mean, I have his win total and everything. So I'm expecting to see some good stuff. So for an outright price, I'm waiting to see, but I definitely have them under a microscope.
I might take Bubba for FOMO. After Suarez won last week, it'd be only fitting if Bubba Wallace won this week.
There you go.
You like any Toyotas, Joey?
I don't hate Bubba. I always liked Bubba. I don't mind him. I had him at Daytona. I know it's just totally different than Daytona, but I don't know.
Nobody likes Martin Truex. He's been consistent here. Same thing with Logano Keselowski. He's been a lot better in the old cars. But I think every race in the next gen, he's been either 7th is his high and 12th is his low. So he's consistently, I know the top 10 isn't really something you want to be betting, but he's been consistent here.
Yeah, he's probably a solid fantasy play maybe, but I don't know. Again, he's another guy that I just struggle to, when I'm looking at the board, to find anything I really want to just run out and place on him, unless we get to practice and holy shit, the Toyotas are fast with this new car, then maybe you consider him a little more.
Yeah, he's been at Vegas the last 4 races. He's been basement furniture, baby, just no finish. He is, if you want to take him, I wish I could bet him specifically to finish 6th to 10th. Because if I could do that and get some odds on that, I would take that, because that's where he's going to finish. It's just, but he's not going to be able to get the job done.
They should offer that. Like, get a driver, hit the window, finishes between spots. That's a good idea, Phil.
Oh, appreciate it. I got tons of them.
All right. So we're good on the Toyotas then. Works for me. You like anybody else? Did we miss anybody?
I about covered everybody on my list, I think.
Yeah, same here. I mean, Chevy is where my mind's at. Probably, I'm hesitating to do it, but I'm probably going to put something down on just Chevy in general, because we've talked a lot about Chevy drivers in a lot of our conversation tonight. And plus 120 was a number on DraftKings that I saw. If the favorite is 4-1 plus 120 to get the whole damn crew for all the reasons that we mentioned, like, to me, that's a bet that I like with all the uncertainty about the other two. So That's the only other bet that, figured I'd throw out there.
Yeah, that's a good price too on Chevy, because sometimes you get them negative numbers. I've seen minus 180s and whatnot. Sometimes I take them, but it's not something I give out on the show.
Yep.
All right. Then I guess we'll recap this. The play I'm giving out is Christopher Bell, top Toyota at plus 350. And Alex Bowman outright on the money line. I don't know what his number is right now. But I'll have more plays in the Discord coming out on the weekend. If you go to pickadvisor.com, I put all my plays out there as a free play. Make sure you check that out. Go ahead, Phil. What do you like?
My favorite bet coming in was Chastain over Elliott on Caesars. I got it at minus 120. I don't have the current odds on it, but my favorite bet part of the show here tonight is, I think, Kyle Busch plus 115 against Ryan Blaney head to head. So kind of found that as I was talking with you, gents. So I'll throw those two out there.
Yeah, I'll jump on that too.
Looks like
Go ahead, Cody.
Chastain's minus 130 now over Elliott. So you move the line a little bit. But I would say my favorite one has to do with Ross Chastain as well. I'd take him top 5. I think plus 220 is probably the one I like the most. As far as the ones we covered tonight, and then William Byron to win the race 9-1 outright, I think is, again, just as much as he dominated this specific race last season, his teammates half those odds to win it. I think you're getting good value on Byron at 9-1.
Go ahead, Joey.
Larson to win, and I like Kyle Busch again. I found the way I do like him in a group bet. Group B on DraftKings against Reddick, Truex, and Chase Elliott at plus 280.
I don't hate that.
Yeah, I found that while we were chatting.
So I guess Reddick would be the only one to worry about.
That's where my mind goes. Reddick is the problem there, but that's a good value.
Yeah,
I don't hate it. All right. You want to explain to the people again what we're doing with our fantasy?
Yeah.
Let them know who you picked. I had to pull it up. I don't even remember who I picked.
Yeah, so basically it's divided into 3 segments, and you get to pick one driver for each series, and once you pick them, you can't use them again for that segment. If they didn't make the playoffs the previous season, they get unlimited uses. So, for example, last season, you could use Truex as much as you wanted. Didn't make the playoffs.
So you could use Chase Elliott every week now?
This is that. I was just going to say that's the one person you cannot use. They put a stipulation in there.
Oh,
you can't use Chase Elliott
bullshit.
But the 3 drivers I went with this week, well, I'll say how I did last week. I was pretty damn proud of it. I had Blaney for Cup. He came in second. Austin Hill for Xfinity. He won. And Ty Majeski for Truck. He came in second.
Oh, shit. Dang.
That's a good week.
That's a hell of a week.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah, right?
I hope you found a way to parlay.
And on the Speedway.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, 1-2-1. Not bad. Sorry, 1-2-2. Not bad. So for this week, I went with Kyle Busch for Cup, Chandler Smith for Xfinity, and Corey Heim for Trucks.
Oh, love the Xfinity and Truck picks. I'm on both those guys.
Let's go.
Who was Xfinity? Who was Xfinity?
Chandler Smith, baby.
Chandler Smith.
Okay.
He's about to put a butt whooping on the field this weekend.
Let's go, baby.
I told you. Tell me to point and shoot. I'm going for it.
All you need to know this week. You'll find out if you listen to the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
Say less. Yeah.
It's all about JGR.
All right. Yeah. So at the beginning of the season, I was using throwaway guys. I'm actually going to use real drivers this week, see what happens. For Cup, I'm going with Alex Bowman. For Xfinity, I'm going with Justin Allgaier. And the Trucks, I'm going with Zane Smith. But I know they're going to send me an email and tell me I can't do that. So I'll figure that one out later.
Yeah, you never know. They let me use Austin Hill last week for Xfinity. They didn't say a damn thing about it. No, for Xfinity.
Well, he's full-time Xfinity though. Do they not let you use part-time guys?
You're
I
not.
feel like it's wishy-washy.
The rules aren't super clear with that.
Yeah.
So I give it a shot. If he tells me I got to pick something else, I pick something else.
Well, if
I
you're
love.
giving
I
it
do
a
love
shot,
the.
why wouldn't
I
you
love
throw
the-
Kyle?
Well, true. Yeah.
Well, I know I can't use him because he's a cup guy.
Oh, they don't let you use cup
I guess
guys.
Zane is too.
Zane
Yeah.
is too.
Yeah.
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 I do love the Alex Bowman play though. I think he's definitely the way I'm leaning early in the week on like the one and dones because I think this is a good spot for him.
Me too. Yeah, I do a one and done with Cody. I'm fourth in the regular fantasy league. How about that?
Nice. Yeah. Kick a butt early.
They were all throwaway guys too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what you used the last couple of weeks. So.
All right. So I guess we'll wrap this up. Phil, you want to tell people who you are, where to find you, how to support you?
Sure. Yeah. Appreciate you having me on. Fun conversation. I'm excited for Vegas and Full Tank Phil at Twitter and Instagram, and Full Tank with Phil. It's the name of the podcast on Apple, Spotify, everywhere there. But you told me Amazon, or what was it? Amazon Music. I need to figure that one out. But
Cody's on there.
Appreciate you guys.
I didn't even know that. So thanks for telling me.
Oh, now you know. Go ahead, Joey Tron.
You call me? I'm sorry, I cut out.
Yeah, man.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Betting Underdog. You can find me in the Insiders Room Discord. You can catch all my premium plays at insidersroom.com, cappersreview.com, pickadvisor.com. I'm all over the place. But most importantly, all free plays on Twitter and in the Insiders Room Discord.
Sweet. Cody?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Husker_Zeeb. Find all my stuff over there. I got a ton of stuff for Sports Gambling Podcast for all over the place, but NASCAR Gambling Podcast, the place to find us 5 days a week, and check out the F1 Gambling Podcast as well.
Yeah, I'll throw tags on here for Twitter. Go give them a follow. Make sure you go listen to NASCAR Gambling Podcast. Make sure you check out Full Tank with Phil, NASCAR Betting Preview Show. I'm Rycape. You can find me at Rycape on all social media. If you want my free picks, they are over at pickadvisor.com. You can also find me, my premium picks, at insidersroom.com. Thank you to all the guests. We're in Phoenix next week. I don't know who's coming on. Probably Rory and someone else. But thanks for coming on, fellas. Have a great day. Let's cash some tickets.